Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Lexus. The new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And welcome to Chicago. U.S. Cellular Field, where the Astros hook up Game 2 of this 3-game set with the Chicago White Sox, a first-place ball club. The Astros came in last night, handed a third consecutive loss to the White Sox as they maintain their lead to the White Sox. The Astros trying to get it hot. They've got a couple of rookies in the lineup tonight. Major League debuts in terms of getting their starts. And as we check out that Astros starting lineup, it's presented by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve in that familiar top spot, hitting .338. George Springer and Carlos Correa follow. Middle three in the order, Colby Rasmus back in the cleanup spot. It's Evan Gattis, one of the big heroes from last night. He will bat fifth. And Colin Moran in the Major League debut tonight in the sixth slot, playing at third base. Bottom three, Luis Valbuena, Jason Castro, and another one of the youngsters, Tony Kemp, with the first Major League start. He's in left.
It's a battle of tall right-handers tonight for the Chicago White Sox. You're looking at Matt Latos' numbers on the season, is yet to be defeated on the season in his 7 starts. Interesting thing, though, in the last 3 starts he's had, he's given up 13 earned runs. Those walks have been racking up for Matt Latos. 5 in his last start against Texas, where he went 5 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs.
Well, Matt Latos struggling a bit, and yet you wouldn't know it with that 1-loss record. He has been really good in that regard. There's Colin Moran making that Major League debut, and I don't know if you're looking at the nerves on his face or just the personality of Colin Moran, but he can swing the bat, and the Astros hope he's able to bring that tonight. Jose Altuve stands in, having hit safely in 9 consecutive games. And we are set to get underway as Latos brings the first offering. And that's about it. 91 on the heat. It's a strike. Jose Altuve just doing everything right for the club. Batting average, home runs, on base percentage, stolen bases for that matter, right over the top with that slider. And of course playing a brilliant second base on top of all of that. Taking more pitches, and that has led to the walks for Jose. It's the fastball on a line to right field, dropping, and it drops for a leadoff single. So Jose Altuve now with 10 consecutive games hit in. He's aboard to start things.
We will look at the couple pitches in a strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson. A couple of pitches on the inside corner, outside corner, and then on 2 strike pitches, left one out over the plate. Altuve not trying to do too much, takes the knock.
Brings up George Springer. Plenty of power for George. Also, like Altuve, 9 home runs. And the White Sox will have some focus on Altuve. Matt Latos, a guy that has been quite easy to run on. Right-hand batters have hit .241. The lefties just .221 against Latos. He falls behind on Springer. Latos, 28 years of age. George Springer checking to see if anything might be on Gary Pettis, the third base coach. Another cool evening in Chicago last night. Pretty cold for the players. Not to mention the broadcasters. Altuve 15 bags and 16 tries on the season.
It's the coldest 57 degrees I've ever been in.
It is a little bit chilly right now.
You're complaining?
The banana split didn't help things either, did it? Did you get in there?
I thought you were trying to insulate.
Springer takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
There it is. The crusher.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was up in the booth?
Was is the key word.
It was briefly.
I wonder where it went.
Wait a minute. I didn't get any of this.
I'm not sure anybody did after that point.
I was in the vicinity and didn't get any.
I I'm mad. I'm going to sit down here and pout.
You were down there doing your baseball thing, Julia. We didn't want to mess with you.
Okay.
2 balls and a strike on Springer. Carlos Correa waits on deck. As Latos misses inside. So no running game yet from Altuve, and yet a 3-1 count on George Springer. Lots of food all over the ballpark, but we ordered wisely here in the booth. Slider brings ball 4, and so the Astros have their first 2 men aboard, Altuve and Springer, as Carlos Correa comes to the plate.
That's been the problem for Matt Latos, not sharp. He has walked a batter in every game he has started this season.
Now Carlos Correa stands in, hitting .268, has 7 home runs. Swung the bat quite well as the Astros opened this road trip in Boston, and yet the Astros won just one of those 4 games. Certainly had opportunities. Heated 92, stays high. Certainly a callable pitch. Last night it was that pitch right around the knees that was not called. Latos brings it again. 2-0 the count. And now for Carlos Correa, one of those real nice hitters counts.
Good time to hit. Latos is primarily fastball slider. Also has a split finger, curveball, occasional changeup.
Don Cooper, pitching coach for the White Sox, and doesn't look like a man who's all that pleased here in the first inning. The 2-0 pitch, and now 3-0 on Correa. And with a shaky first inning, you wonder, is there a green light for Carlos? And if there is, does he swing it?
Tell you what, with the command issues, I'd force Latos to throw a strike. Once you get that 3-1 count, you know he's got to repeat it. That would be the one to tee off on.
Carlos backs away and takes a strike. Now you've got the 3-1. And like you say, it's that same opportunity right now.
Because right now, early on, Latos is trying to establish that fastball command, trying to find that fastball command.
Latos trying to win a 6th consecutive decision. It would be the first time since 2013 for him. And now the count fills 3-2 on Carlos. And in a shaky first inning like this, still the opportunity possibly to just look for the fastball, try to get one, as Colby Rasmus waits on deck.
Mike Stanton back in the studios kind of hinted at it before the game started that wouldn't it be nice if the Astros could put up a crooked number here in the first inning.
I think he suggested about 8 runs over the first couple of innings, so yes, that would work very well. Runners go, the pitch line to right, that's a base hit. That'll score Altuve easily. The ball bobbled momentarily in right, but it doesn't produce anything extra. RBI single for Carlos Correa, and the Astros on top 1-0. Runners at the corners, still nobody out, and the cleanup man Colby Rasmus coming to the plate.
Carlos was swinging the bat well in Fenway with a couple of bombs. Here he does a great job on a fastball away, just goes with it, but he's been squaring the ball up nicely in the last 4 or 5 days or so. Doesn't seem to change tonight. That ball is rocketed.
Boy, isn't that pretty? You got the catcher going one way with the runners in motion, and Carlos just leaning toward right field and driving it. So Altuve gets it all started with the base hit. He scores 1-0 Houston. And a team photo going on the mound for the White Sox as Don Cooper is out there along with the home plate umpire. Those umpires tonight behind the plate: Dan Bellino around the bases, Adam Hamari at first. At second is Tom Hallion, he's the crew chief, and Tony Randazzo is at third as Matt Latos is still seeking the first out of the game. Latos with those 5 wins already on the year. tied for 5th in the league in wins. I'm rooting for Mike Stanton's wishes right now.
Oh, you kind of sounded like you were having fun last night.
Which inning are you referring to?
The latter. Latter innings.
Well, we both were. I'm about ready for summer to set in.
I'm sure the rest of Chicago is too.
Oh, Colby Rasmus a chance to pick up a ribby. Offers on the slider. Ball and a strike. Colby went 1 for 6 in last night's win. Leads the Astros with 29 RBIs. And that figure is tied for 6th in the league. And he has been excellent on the season when he's had men in scoring position. Hit in the air shallow into center field. A long run for Jackson. He'll get there. It's too shallow to be able to tag at third base for George Springer. And so there's the first out of the night. Runner still at first and third. 1 out for Evan Gattis. And again, Evan had probably the big swing of the night for Houston. Launched a home run, a line shot to left.
Yeah, I would go ahead and take the probably off that and just say this was the biggest hit of the night. That is what the Astros needed after coughing up that lead in the 9th inning. Able to hold on. Bullpen did a good job. Tony Sipp came on and saved that ball game. But that was definitely the big swing the Astros needed.
Yeah, Evan returning to the ball club, and well, that bat was certainly welcome in the lineup last evening. A couple of home runs on the year for Evan. Runner goes for second. The throw down not in time. So Carlos Correa employs the running game. Picks up the bag as the Astros continue to run it very well as a team.
Latos, a big guy, 6'6", takes him a while to unfold, even with that kind of a miniature slide step going towards home plate. Base hit will drive in 2.
For the Astros, stolen base number 38. Caught 13 times. A little tapper on the third base side's a foul ball. Immediately with that call, home plate umpire Dan Bellino. And that's a tough call for a home plate umpire.
That really is. It is right out in front of him, but there's a lot of moving parts out in front of home plate. That was pretty close. Pretty good look at it, though.
That stolen base for Carlos Correa, his 7th. This is game 41 for the Astros. They're right at that quarter mark. And Evan Gattis bites on that slider in the dirt. Strikeout is the 2nd out of the inning. So runners at 2nd and 3rd as Colin Moran makes his major league debut.
Good time to do it. A couple ducks on the pond.
What's going through his head right now?
There's a whole lot going through his head. Every scouting report he's ever heard in the dugout, and then every at bat he's had up until this point is probably floating through his head leading up to this point. I hope he's enjoying it, because it is pretty special to be here and have that first big league at bat.
You can certainly have the jitters when you make that major league debut, but it's a big moment. A couple of runners in scoring position. That fastball in the hands, and I might mean literally. "23 years of age. Joined the Astros yesterday. That's deep in the kitchen.
What'd you do your first at bat?
RBI single.
Of course you did.
Kind of cool at Tiger Stadium, the old Tiger Stadium. I think I waited for about 3 weeks to appear again. Boy, it was a confidence destroyer for me that first couple of seasons, playing very little and just sitting and watching. Really tough.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Ball and a strike on Moran. Was hitting .288 in the minor leagues. That at Double-A. Excuse me, he was at Triple-A Fresno with those numbers. .288, had 7 doubles, 3 home runs. And he was leading his club in RBIs with 22, that in 32 games. Had a real nice spring with the Astros. Hit .349 this year. And he mixed in some power. Had 3 doubles, 3 long balls. 9 RBIs on the spring. But he's down on strikes. And a couple of very big strikeouts, getting Evan Gattis and Colin Moran. That'll do it as the Astros get a run and lead it 1-0. A single by Carlos Correa, who also stole a bag in that first inning. And now the lineup for the Chicago White Sox tonight. Adam Eaton in the top spot. Looked good last night. Jimmy Rollins and Jose Abreu follow. Middle 3 in the order, Todd Frazier. He was sick last evening. And a big bat back in the lineup. Melky Cabrera and Brett Lawrie in the middle part. And the bottom, Javi Garcia, Deanna Navarro, and Austin Jackson.
Big right-hander. Never mind. Doug Fister's on the mound. 6'8". Couple of tall right-handers going today.
Fister finds the strike zone. Blummer was talking about it, but Fister last time out recorded his 5th consecutive quality start. He allowed just a couple of runs, 6 hits over 7 innings. Gets in front 0-2 on the leadoff man for the White Sox. You have to go back to June of last year to see 7 innings in a ball game for Doug Fister. So that last time out with the 7 innings, stretching it out pretty well. And as Jeff has talked about, not a hard thrower at all. A guy who has been succeeding with just mastery of the strike zone. On the other side, Adam Eaton playing very good baseball. His right field play has been extremely good. Last night came very close late in the ballgame to launching one opposite field. 2-2 the count. As a right fielder, Adam Eaton with 7 assists already on the season. Ground ball fair inside the bag and down that left field line. Some kind of job. Eaton aggressively into second, and that throw in is right on the money as Tony Kemp comes up with a big assist play down the left field line. There you go, contributing early in that major league debut as a starter anyway, and the first out of the game.
Johnny on the spot. Again, shift on, so the outfielder shifted well over. Tony Kemp was in the right position, hustled the ball nicely, and put a nice strong throw to second base to get Adam Eaton.
That is some beautiful teaming up right there. And really just a perfect throw. So a base hit for Eaton, but he's erased 7-4. Tony Kemp showing some ability to get to the baseball very quickly down that left field side. With one out, it brings up the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, who hammers one to right field. Springer going back. This one is one hopping the wall. And into second base with that one out double, Jimmy Rollins. Back-to-back hits for the White Sox, but defense playing in already.
Just a hanging sinker. Fister would like to get a little more tilt on that down in the zone. That ball's ripped from Jimmy Rollins.
Just the 7th double on the year for Rollins. One out, first base open. Jose Abreu at the plate. Hit his 6th home run on the season last night.
We're going to look at our forward spray chart on Jose Abreu 2016 season. You see that array of hits pretty evenly distributed throughout the ballpark, going the other way nicely up the middle.
And he's got great power in all directions. That home run to center last night came off Dallas Keuchel, who was excellent through 4 innings. Then the wheels came off a bit for Dallas. Over the last 19 games, Abreu hitting at .313.
There's that good curveball from Doug Fister. Big 12-6er. Nice break on that.
Jose Abreu has reached base safely in 21 of his last 22. He shoots one through the right side. 3 consecutive hits. Here comes Rollins to the plate. The throw late from Springer. And the White Sox have caught the Astros quickly. It's 1-1. RBI base hit Jose Abreu. And RBI number 26.
Guys that like the RBI recognize where the infield is and are not afraid to let the ball travel and get deep and try and just force the ball the other way to get that RBI in. Knowing that a base hit will drive in Jimmy Rollins relatively easily, Abreu does a good job of fighting off this inside fastball to shoot through that 4-hole. And again, Ash talked about the power that Abreu has. That's why George Springer is playing a little bit deeper than normal. It took him a while to get to that softly hit ground ball.
And now Todd Frazier, the veteran third baseman, at the plate. Again, sick last night, unable to play. But he leads the White Sox with his 12 home runs, and apparently he leads in numerous ways on this Chicago club. When you talk to broadcasters and people around the club, they talk about Todd Frazier first. 32 RBIs. Back to Jose Abreu, that RBI. We mentioned his 26th on the year, and he's right about on pace for the last couple of seasons. They are at the quarter pole, game number 40 for the White Sox. Last year he drove in 101, the year before 107, so he's right on that same pace. Frazier takes a strike. 2-2 the count. Missing that game for Frazier last night, the first time he's done so this year. Sitting .367 with 5 dingers, 14 ribbies, 8 runs scored and 6 walks over his last 8 games. So for Robin Ventura, kind of another leader on this team. Runner goes, the pitch, ball 4, and another man reaches. That's 4 straight here in the first inning. But for that fine play by Tony Kemp to get the out at second base, here's not a man erased by Doug Fister. Still 1 out. Melky Cabrera stands in. And Melky Cabrera has put up very good numbers offensively in his career. Castro out to the mound. Cabrera, 31 years of age now, out of the Dominican Republic. Been in the big league since 2005. Has a 2-0 count.
Fastball command is an early issue for Doug.
Melky Cabrera, lifetime in the big leagues now, 12th season, a .285 hitter. It's went sharply. Altuve backhands on to Correa, and the Astros get the double play. 4-6-3 on a very sharply hit ball. So Doug Fister finds some use with that defense here in the first inning as they bail him out. Through 1, it's a 1-1 tie.
The second inning, we are all tied up at 1 apiece after that first inning, and our delivery of the game is delivered to you by Jimmy Johns. Taking a look back at Luis Valbuena in that Fenway series, he had a great game. Had a big home run for the Houston Astros, putting some runs on the board, and this was a nice one too. He drove this ball deep in that right center field. A triangle at Fenway Park, bounced up into the stands. Had to settle for that double, but it was a big night swinging a big stick, and hopefully some big things starting to turn around for Luis Valbuena.
Matt Latos brings a strike on that first offering. For Valbuena, just a .206 batting average, but he has been tuning it up. A couple of home runs in recent games. Breaking ball stays up. It's 0-2. 10 RBIs for Luis. And you would have to say, in watching the early goings for Matt Latos, not sharp, and no doubt leading in a big way to the struggles he's had over the last 3 starts. Last time out, 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits and 5 earnings against Latos. That at Texas against the Rangers. Who, by the way, just got swept by the Oakland A's. So the Oakland A's doing other clubs in the American League West a big favor. 2-2 pitch. Slider hit on the ground. Shift on. Second baseman right there. Brett Lawrie with the play in the first out here in the inning. That'll bring up Jason Castro. 1 for 5 with a ribby last night for Castro. He drove in the first Houston run, and it was a beautiful at bat. Tough one against left-hander Carlos Rodon. Just a line drive base hit to left field. Making his 5th consecutive start now since coming back from the paternity leave. On the hands, looper down the left side, and that's going to drop for a knock. Castro around first base. He'll hold there as Todd Frazier, the third baseman, goes out and gets it back in quickly. That's the kind of base hit that'll really help a guy to get things turned around.
Take that ball.
Ball likely stays in play.
Ain't pretty, but it's a knock. It's all about location.
And that was some lovely location. A 1-out single. And Tony Kemp steps in, first major league at bat. Kemp came on last night, so he's made his debut. He was a pinch runner last evening. Lines one down the left side. He's got a knock in that first major league at bat. Stopping at second. Now going is Castro as the throw comes in and gets by Frazier. And into second base as well as Tony Kemp. It'll be a single, and Castro takes advantage.
There it is.
There you go. That's gorgeous.
First big league hit for Tony Kemp. Congratulations, young man. Welcome to the club. He had a pretty good idea when he was going to get up there. He said, if I get a fastball away, I'm just going to go with it. Nice little slap down that left field line. Beautiful.
And you can see the difficulties there at the railing for Melky Cabrera. And that likely enabled Castro to take the extra 90.
It really wasn't an aggressive turn.
Altuve hits one on the ground to second base. That'll score a run as Castro alertly comes in. And so Altuve thrown out 4-3, but picks up the ribby as the Astros move on top. 2-1 here in the second inning.
Some interesting base running going on right now by Jason Castro. Had to freeze at third base and make sure the ball got past the pitcher Latos. But I think he almost froze in his tracks because he scored well after Jose Altuve was thrown out at first base.
When you've got that infield playing back, a ground ball up the middle, you've got to be able to go on. But you're dead right. It's always that fear that the pitcher comes up with the baseball. George Springer now stands in. He drew a walk part of that first inning. The Astros struck first with a run. The White Sox responded quickly against Pfister. But here come the Astros once again as Tony Kemp is down at third base. Deanna Navarro, a nice casual block of that pitch. What a night already for Tony Kemp. He's picked up an assist, a very nice one. And now the base hit in his first major league at bat. We didn't frankly see a whole lot from Tony Kemp on the spring in terms of success. But if that's the type of hitter he is, welcome to the club.
I like the aggressiveness, and what I think I saw in spring training was just a little bit of tentativeness.
Springer drills one to right, but this hangs up as Adam Eaton makes the play. Just simply hit too hard. The Astros pick up another run and lead it 2-1.
Second, 2-1 Astros in the lead. Learn all about Minute Maid Park with a behind-the-scenes look at historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today. Ash.
Thank you, Julia. 2-1 Astros. Both sides swinging the bats very well as Doug Fister finds the strike zone. Right hand hitting Brett Lawrie at the plate, second baseman for the White Sox. And Fister in front 0-2. Five dingers on the year for Lawrie. Made a ton of errors down at third base for the Oakland A's last year, and now playing at second base. That's the position that he came up through the minor leagues with the Milwaukee Brewers playing. Fister with the 1-2. Strike three called right on the outside edge. Lawrie looking all the way, and he's down on strikes.
Nice pitch from Doug Fister, and Jack in the Box is going to take us inside the box score. See some good lines on Doug Fister making adjustments. Those first four starts on the left-hand side, the last three starts. And again, he has 5 consecutive quality starts. The ERA dropping, the curve being an effective pitch for him. Strike percentage is up. Doesn't mind pitching to contact, and you see why with that last number jumping from 40% to almost 55%.
Javi Garcia at the plate. Big guy, plenty of power. Right on the hands. That running fastball from Doug Fister. Fister now 32 years of age, signed a 1-year deal with the Astros. He was a free agent in the offseason. Spent his previous 2 years with the Washington Nationals. He had been with the Tigers prior to that. And it's Major League start number 175 for Fister. Garcia in front on the 2-1 count. Again on the hands. Garcia's been a hot hitter. He's hit .377, a couple of doubles, make that 5, in fact, 2 home runs and 10 ribbies over his last 16 games. He offers on the off speed in the dirt and down on strikes for Doug Fister, his second strikeout, both coming here in the second. And we check in with Julia once again.
Hey guys, we've noticed all season long that Doug Fister's been moving over to that first base side of the rubber. One of the things was so he could improve against left-handed hitters, and he has here recently, but doing that gives him some different angles, gives him more freedom on the plate. That's one thing that he's been trying to do, though, is establish that inside part of the plate against those lefties, and it's been working for him late, as of late, feeling much more comfortable out there, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And that's something that pitchers that are scuffling a little bit will tend to do. They'll change locations on the rubber. But you would think that that first base side would probably help with that moving sinker. Now I think of Jared Weaver with the Angels, who works from the extreme third base side and then crossfires. Most of his fastballs are sinkers these days. Now guys experiment on both sides. Three balls, no strikes. It's the 8-hitter, the switch hitting Dioner Navarro at the plate. With those 5 consecutive quality starts for Fister, he leads the club in that category. And as Jeff Blum said, it's all coming over the most recent 5 starts now for Fister. And yet he's gone just 2-2 in those games. Ground ball right side, Altuve making the play. Second out of the inning. Make that the third. A couple of strikeouts for Fister. A 1-2-3 frame. To the third we go. 2-1 Houston.
of the third at the cell. It's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page to vote in the poll. Which Astro had the coolest nickname? This is tough. Lights Out, Brad Lidge. The Toy Cannon, Jimmy Wynn. The Express, Nolan Ryan. Or Dr. Death, Danny Darwin. Get to voting. Guys, do you have an opinion or a vote? Comments?
There's some pretty good ones. That's a good
scared
group.
of Dr. Death.
Yeah, Dr. Death was a good one. Toy Cannon just always stood out for me. Yeah, those are good. Thanks, Julia. To the third we go. Carlos Correa, 1-for-1 RBI single and a stolen base in the first inning. And that was some gorgeous hitting as Correa lined one to right field to drive in a run. The other Astros RBI tonight picked up by Altuve as he grounded out in the second inning. Do we call it daring base running in that frame by Jason Castro?
No.
You can hesitate if you'd like. Correa has hit in 5 straight. Grounds one left side. That's a base hit. Pitch likely well below the knees, and yet Correa 2 for 2 on the night. What's up with the cookies and what is that?
That's the lineup. You got a pitcher, you got your third base, first base, the outfield.
Are those?
I think that's Julia down here.
It is. I have a cookie.
Oh, sorry.
Look, it's the broadcast team.
Hey, that's us.
Thanks, Brian, for this tweet.
We've officially made it.
I've got a black mustache going on there, I think.
I love it.
Thick, bushy mustache.
Yes, it is. You were looking just really cuddly there. Colby Rasmus hits it on the ground right side. They'll go to second base for the force. Colby reaches. So Correa erased 4-6. Brett Laurie starting that force. And 1 out here in the inning. It'll bring up Evan Gattis. The Astros already with 5 hits on the evening. Evan Gattis struck out part of a back-to-back punch-out back in the first inning. Gattis and Colin Moran going down on strikes, and there were men in scoring position at that time. Pretty good over-the-top looking slider that Matt Latos is featuring. Talked about the rough go for Latos in the last 3 games. 13 earned runs in that span over 15 innings.
Gattis has taken some funky swings off Latos.
Not really adjusting to that pitch in. But you can say of Evan Gattis, after hitting the 3 home runs in his rehab assignment, he's come back swinging with power. Last night, that home run, and it was, as Jeff Blum said, the big swing of the ball game. Just a rocket line drive that got out quickly to left field. Gattis down on strike, second time tonight, and it would appear having a tough time picking up the pitches from Latos.
Yeah, he's taking terrible swings at the sliders he's seen from Matt Latos in his first 2 at bats.
He has struck out 2 of the 3 strikeouts picked up by Latos tonight. And by the way, I just want the folks on Twitter to know I'm seeing some of the comments tonight.
Good ones?
Well, comments.
Why are you talking to them? I'm right here.
Are you? Well, is that you sending that stuff out?
I'll put my name on it if I do. I could just tweet the broadcast.
I thought my cookie was rather. Well, maybe he wasn't handsome looking. As Colin Moran has his second major league at bat.
I thought you looked pretty good for a cookie.
Mustache was a little stronger than I think I was featuring. 2 outs here in the inning. Matt Latos would appear to be working in on Colin Moran, and from what we've seen, that may be the early book. Moran, a guy who drives it nicely the other way. How much did you get to watch him on the spring?
Just a couple of games. I mean, maybe 5 or 6 at bats. What I saw a lot, I saw a lot of video too. I think he's a good gap to gap type guy. That occasional pop.
There's that look. I don't know.
I've got the brick red jersey on. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's nice.
Just a little disappointed in Julia's shoes.
What's up with the eye black? Is it really that bright?
The fluorescent lighting in that kitchen, it gets to my Josh Hamilton's.
You know, all three of us have Josh Hamilton's there. You're aware, right?
Yeah.
No shades involved. There goes Rasmus as it's lined down the left side, and that's just foul. Colin Moran so close to a first major league hit. And with Colby on the move, he might have been able to score.
How close was he to that first big league hit? Ooh. Have been inches.
It had to get that heart pumping a bit. Colin Moran was the 6th overall selection in the 2013 draft. Came out of the University of North Carolina. He was drafted by Miami. The Astros picked him up in a 7-player deal that came in July of 2014. It's part of that Jared Cozart deal. Deanna Navarro, like Jason Castro so much of the time, is doing a nice job on pitches in the dirt. Jake Marisnick came over to the Astros in that deal. That eventually led to the Astros last year being able to draft Des Cameron. There goes Colby. The pitch hit off the hands on the ground to second base. Brett Laurie with the play. So they continue to pound in on Colin Moran. Astros don't get on the board, though they get a hit. They lead it 2-1.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
Doug Fister set to work it. 2-1 Astros on top. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning as Austin Jackson stands in. He's the 9-hitter in his first plate appearance on the night. White Sox got their run in the 1st inning. The Astros have picked up singletons in the 1st and 2nd frames. On the hands, fly ball to right field. Springer coming on, and out number 1. I'll bring up the leadoff man, Adam Eaton. It would seem that Adam Eaton, along with third baseman Todd Frazier, have been a couple of the guys that the White Sox feel are really playing well this year. Good over the top Yacker for a strike. Not a big guy, but he's played it well, whether in the field or offensively. Another shallow fly ball. Colby Rasmus coming on. He'll make that catch almost toward left field. 2 down in the inning. It'll bring up the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. And you notice Colby Rasmus getting that start in center tonight. Maybe a look the Astros will feature now for a while against right-hand pitching.
There's still reports saying that AJ will play Marisnick majority of the time in center field, but I think if he has a good matchup that he feels Tony Kemp can go out and play some left field and provide some of that electricity in the bottom part of that lineup against a right-handed pitcher, he's going to give him a chance.
Is that running fastball for a called strike? Well, I imagine a lot of that's going to be in the hands of Tony Kemp if he plays well enough to earn the starting time. 0-2 the count on Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, I really don't think it's a bad idea right now just to play whoever's hot. Get those sticks going. I really don't think the offense has been that bad, but I know that A.J. Hinch wants a little more consistency, like Julie was saying, throughout the lineup, not relying so much on the top half of that lineup.
The Astros come into play tonight 6th in the league in runs scored, so that's, to your point, it's not that bad. Curveball got him. So Doug Fister has a nice quick 1-2-3 inning, 8 pitches needed, and picks up his 3rd strikeout of the night. 2-1, Astros lead it.
Fourth, it's 2-1, Astros leading the White Sox. Make memories at an Astros Sunday home game with family-friendly activities presented by Kroger. The next family Sunday of the season is this Sunday's game against the Texas Rangers. For more info, visit astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Ash.
Thank you, Julia. As we see the foul ball coming right back toward us because of Jeff Blum's aversion to the cool temperatures. We've got the windows closed here this evening, and that one hitting right off the front of the window here.
It's all right. You keep going that way. I'm going to have the guys in the truck get a shot of what's actually going on up here.
You are awfully defensive here this evening.
I'm not defensive.
There it is.
Okay, so that's my hand. Yeah, stick your hand out the window. Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's my hand right there. Ground ball hit on the right side. That's the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, with the play, showing his hands. And out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston, benefiting Houston Children's Charity. Most home runs by an Astros catcher. This is all done above the temperature of about 65 degrees. Alan Ashby, you're leading the way with 69 bombs.
That's just sad. But Jason Castro's on the move. Tony Eusebio in there. There you go. Jason Castro at the plate. He's got a lot more to say about this. Castro had a base hit as he flared one down the left field side, kept it fair, and it dropped beyond Todd Frazier. The shift is on in the infield. And it's an intriguing look defensively on Jason Castro, a guy who hits to left field so much, but when he does, it tends to be in the air. Well, if he could perfect that, just stay on top of it, swing, and hit some balls on the ground to the left side. And that batting average pushing quickly toward 300.
Just kind of funny. You could go into batting practice and say, all I'm going to do is try and hit just 48 hoppers through the shortstop.
Yeah.
He'd have 3 hits tonight.
It's a 1-out walk to Castro. He's reached twice this evening. And it brings up Tony Kemp, who came up with one gorgeous first major league at bat in the 2nd inning as he lined one for a base hit down the left field side. No, that's going to be a nice highlight reel he'll be able to watch for a long time.
Can you name the last Astros rookie to get a base hit in their first professional at bat? Taking longer than I thought.
I am Carlos Correa, maybe.
Tyler White.
Tyler White this year. I'm trying to remember, what did Carlos Correa do in his first big league at bat?
I don't know if he got a hit, but I know his first hit was an infield hit, I think, off of Chris Sale.
Against Chris Sale, you take any kind of knock. Of course, you take any kind of knock against anybody. Tony Kemp shows bunt, has a ball and a strike. Apparently, Carlos Correa popped to third base his first major league at bat. I don't know, I have just this sense about Correa that there really weren't any nerves going on. There's a little fister dropping in left field. Rollins on the move, can't get there. Jimmy Rollins is hitting a cool 1,000 in the major leagues. 2 for 2 in the big leagues.
Game's easy, just touch it.
There's no reason for that smile, is there?
Sign the retirement papers. Finish with 1,000.
That is just beautiful.
That is good for him.
He's thinking to himself, I remember when it was tough hitting in the minor leagues. It's really easy here. So Jimmy Rollins couldn't get there. Men at first and second, Castro and Kemp, and Altuve at the plate. He has singled and scored, grounded out, driving in a run. It's just kind of the standard for Jose Altuve. Just filling up all the categories. That looked like an all-out assault on right field.
A pretty hellacious hack.
Matt Latos has had a lot of injury problems in recent years. Back in 2012, led the National League in starts with 33. Hanging breaking ball in for a called strike. Matt Latos out in front, 0-2. Right where Altuve wants him.
If Altuve even pays attention to the count.
I don't know if it matters to him a whole lot.
Yeah.
The only thing about with 2 strikes is you decide, well, I'm going to swing it anything within a foot of the plate anywhere. Latos last year combined to go just 4 and 10. Ground ball hit through the left side. Base hit. Castro being waved home. As the throw comes back in, not to the plate. The Astros add another, lead at 3-1. Another RBI for Altuve. His second on the night and his second hit.
The Astros aren't tearing the cover off the ball. They're just finding the right placement. Seen a couple of drop shots from Castro and Kemp in left field. Now, pretty nasty pitch down the zone off the end of the bat. Just able to sneak it into left field.
That was tough. And it's something about really good hitters, and I know you saw it through the years. Guys who are great hitters could find the holes. They could hit really tough pitches. That's who Altuve is. Still 1 out as George Springer stands in, takes a strike.
Look at the effort from Todd Frazier. Not a hard hit ground ball, just still right out of the reach. So you look on Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm.
They say he's been playing a great third base for the Sox. Kemp at second, Altuve at first. Springer with the slow ground ball, and now it's kicked at second base. Altuve froze and actually put himself in a pretty tough spot. They'll get the force at second as Altuve is erased. But had Altuve kept going, there might have been a shot for all hands to be safe.
Yeah, but I think Altuve made the right move. If he runs into if he runs into Laurie and he makes the play, he's tagged, it turns into a double play. The reason he stopped is because he anticipated Laurie making the play. But if he runs into a double play right here, it does not look good. Kind of a selfish game of hot potato.
Not really involving his teammates a whole lot. So it brings up Carlos Correa, 2 for 2 tonight. He's driven in a run. He's stolen a base.
And this guy at the plate right now is why that was a heads-up play to only get 1 out on that ground ball.
Make sure he comes to the plate
with runners on.
Runners at the corners. Matt Latos very aware of the speed of George Springer and the fact that the Astros love to run. With the stolen base tonight, 38, while being caught 13 times for Houston. That's one Carlos Correa might like to have back.
The way he took it almost looked like he had no intention of swinging. He flinched.
0-1 the count. Hit off the fist. Laurie at second base makes the play, and that'll do it. The Astros can only muster 1 run in the inning as they lead it 3-1 over the White Sox. Inning we go. The Astros have mounted a 3-1 lead over the White Sox. 7 hits already for Houston, as Doug Fister will work it to the 3, 4, 5 spots for Chicago. Jose Abreu stands in. And a first inning single, just kind of guiding one through the right side. He had a big hole and drove in a run with that base hit. He's hit in 7 straight now. Todd Frazier and Melky Cabrera to follow here in the inning. Another ground ball right side, this time Altuve right there. And out number 1.
The 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to Astros.com/vote to choose your All-Stars and send them to the Midsummer Classic on July 12th in San Diego. Vote early and vote often at Astros.com/vote.
Four-hitter Todd Frazier comes to the plate. He drew a walk. That came back in the first inning. These two clubs not that different in terms of scoring runs. The Astros start the night at 4.3 runs a game. The White Sox at 4.4. A.J. Hinch has been trying like crazy to find the right combinations with this team. And it still really comes down to pitching.
Absolutely.
.20 finds a strike zone. The Astros team ERA at 4.65. That's 13th in the league. Probably most alarming, Dallas Keuchel with a 5.4 ERA after that tremendous season last year. 3-2 the count on Frazier.
Good job bringing that sinker back over the plate.
Only the Oakland A's and Minnesota Twins have higher team ERAs than the Astros. Twins at the bottom of the heap. Chopper right side, handled by the 6'8" Doug Fister, and 2 down here in the inning. So if the Astros can iron that out, and I think we would both agree the offense can be better than what we've seen. Start balancing things, and last night we were talking about just picking up a game on the division every week to 10 days or so and take your chances. And we mentioned a little earlier the Texas Rangers have been swept by the Oakland A's. So help comes in some odd fashions at times.
Need a little help from your enemies every now and then.
The Oakland A's are now 19-22. Hot shot into right field. Melky Cabrera has a 2-out single. He's aboard for Brett Lawrie.
This is a hanging sinker. Melky, a pretty good hitter over the years, able to turn on that one.
Lawrie struck out in the second inning as he led off and took all 3 called strikes. Two 2-0 the count. The Astros start the night 16-24, 7 games back of Seattle. It's actually as the clubs woke up this morning. Two balls and a strike. A guy who in the past, Brett Lawrie, was the definition of free swinger. Taking a lot more pitches right now. Gets tied up as he fouls it back. The Astros won last night 6-5 and 11. Down on strikes again, Brett Lawrie. Good breaking ball to get him. That's 4 strikeouts for Doug Fister through 4 innings. The Astros lead over the White Sox 3-1.
Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Buddies members get a voucher for 4 tickets to an Astros game, VIP access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive autograph sessions, and more. Memberships for kids up to 12 years old are available by visiting astros.com/buddies. Guys, Colby Rasmus up to the plate right now, but earlier today visiting 8-year-old Owen Mahan, who's from this area or lives in this area and was at Shriners Hospital when they met earlier today. But then he brought him on the field for VP. Owen's special young man. He's a big baseball fan. He was in a terrible accident back in 2009. He was 2 years old and was burned over 98% of his body. But man, he's the happiest kid. He really enjoyed hanging out with the guys at BP. Met Jose Altuve, George Springer, got to take some pictures, and Colby's saying that this is just something he wants to do more of. And he even took his kids to meet Owen, his 2 little girls. Just really special to him to get to spend time with Owen, guys.
Thank you, Julian. What a great story for Colby Rasmus. You get so much more out of that than the kids do. Colby hammers one deep right. Way back, and see ya. Colby Rasmus has put another run on the board. For Colby on the season, that's number 8, RBI number 30, as he circles the bases 1 for 3 on the night. The Astros with a 4-1 lead.
One might be a little more special than a couple he's hit this year. Did a good thing this afternoon, hanging out with Owen, making his day now. Launches one into the seats. It was a bomb.
It's the 5th home run allowed on the year by Matt Latos. And there was no doubt about this mammoth clout.
That made a good day even better.
Colby might be out meeting with the kids and folks that have needs a whole lot more here in the future. Evan Gattis with a 1-1 count. Gattis has struck out twice tonight. Matt Latos with 3 strikeouts on his evening. Slider's been good. Sometimes it is just a fun, easy game. But for the vast majority of the guys, you'll have your battles, no question about it.
That ball was low.
Just a bit. Navarro continues to be really quiet with his blocking game tonight. 3-2 now on Gaddis. Nobody out, a run in. Colin Moran waits on deck. Evan Skies one toward the seats down the right side. Let's stay alive at 3-2. U.S. Cellular Field here in Chicago on the south side. Of course, the Cubs on the north side. Hot shot knocked down on the backhand side by Frazier, and now has no play. So Evan Gaddis picks up an infield single as he's right on the heels of the home run by Rasmus. Let's take a look at that home run again by Colby.
That's right in the wheelhouse of Colby Rasmus. He likes that fastball in, able to pull the hands in, get the barrel on it quick, keep that front side closed, and even Matt Latos knew it. Sounded great off the bat.
Still nobody out. Gaddis aboard. Colin Moran with his third major league at bat now. And it's evident the White Sox for the moment are going to pitch hard in on Colin. He is struck out and grounded out. Infield shifts around a bit to that right side. Little looper and a jumping grab. Not needing to get up much at shortstop. Jimmy Rollins able to make the play. So Colin Moran 0 for 3 tonight. And Gaddis on that infield single. One out. Valbuena at the plate. He's grounded out a couple of times. We're in the 5th inning. Astros having it their way. Trying to make it 2 straight here in Chicago. And the White Sox get some activity going in their pen. Dan Jennings is that left-hander. Ball and a strike on Valbuena. The Astros are 5-5 over their last 10, 10-10 over the last 20. So they've been treading water here recently.
It'd be nice to get that pitching dialed in and go on a bit of a run for these Houston Astros. This would be a great time for it.
One good bit of news last night with Dallas Keuchel not at his best overall, but still a quality start. And the Astros picking up the W with him out there. 3-1.
Latos having some issues with that mound.
Matt Latos with a 4th consecutive start now in which he has struggled. Pitch hit sharply, but with the shift on, Laurie gets it out at second. They'll get the 4-6-3, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 5th inning. First double play turn by Chicago tonight. Enjoy the long ball from Colby Rasmus. Top to the bottom of the 5th inning we go. 7, 8, 9 coming up for the White Sox. Avi Garcia leads it off. And Doug Fister has been on a nice roll since the 1st inning when the White Sox got on the board. Right on the hands, the little roller. Valbuena bare hands and feeds onto Fister, out number 1.
Man, that turned into a pretty good play by Doug Fister. Almost like a push bunt. A full hack from Garcia. Fister bouncing off, can't get to it, just continues on that path towards first base, realizing Valbuena is going to have an opportunity to make the play. Nice. Well, pick and roll.
They're nice to get those quick outs, and Fister does a lot of that. With 1 out, Dioner Navarro stands in 0 for 1. Navarro grounded out to Altuve in the 2nd inning. Pitch fouled off left side. That's some completed action around the major leagues already today. The Oakland A's down the Texas Rangers 3 straight, a sweep over Texas. 8-1 the final today. Chris Davis has gone wild, 3 home runs yesterday. It's another one today. 12 home runs for a guy that not many people know much about. Slow roller and a tough play. Fister does not have a play. The slow-footed Dioner Navarro with the infield single that comes with 1 out and brings up Austin Jackson. Peek at Chris Davis.
Man, he had himself a heck of a night last night. 1 home run, 2 home run.
That one is driven.
Just for good measure, he hits a walk-off grand slam.
Not a real big guy, but he's one of those guys that just has great power.
He's got to work on his jumper.
Steph Curry was a bit off the other night as well in that area.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the Warriors get beat in that first game at home.
Strike on the inside edge. Ball and a strike on Jackson. Flied out as he led off the 3rd inning. White Sox now with 5 hits against Fister. The Astros have put up 9 hits on the board. And they add the long ball by Colby Rasmus. And it was a majestic shot. Gets away from Castro, but not enough for Navarro to move up. 2-2 the count.
Like an old school Doug Brocail fastball.
He used to run a lot of sailors up there.
Did he ever? This one just kind of danced a little bit at the top part of that zone.
You know when you get a brand new pearl and throw a 2-seamer and the ball would sail for you?
Yeah.
Get that occasional pitcher that will throw that pitch over and over. Line drive to right field. To his left is Springer to make the play. And a 2nd out here in the inning. Back to the top with Adam Eaton, and they can be so frustrating for catchers.
Follow Astros Baseball live and stay up to the moment with Game Day, live highlights, StatCast, and more with the MLB.com @bat app. Now load. Oh my gosh! Download the app. I mean, @bat app. Good Lord.
Yeah, we're having a good time with the Astros leading at 4-1. That was nice. Adam Eaton has singled and flied out. That single in the 1st inning found Tony Kemp chasing it down in foul territory down the left field side and gunning into Altuve to get the 1st out for the White Sox. That proved actually to be a big play as the White Sox added 2 more hits, one of those a double and a walk following. And when it was all said and done, Chicago only able to put 1 run on the board. I don't know how those fingernails hold up over the course of 162. 3-0 the count. Keep in mind, it's Colin Moran playing defensively down at third tonight for the Astros. Imagine some teams, some players will want to test Colin defensively.
Play a pretty good third base. He was doing well down in Fresno.
Ball hit hard to right field. Springer back, can't get there. Adam Eaton at it again. Navarro just jogs it into third base. So even with 2 outs, Navarro only able to go first to third on this double to the gap all the way to the wall. And Navarro looks like a guy who might be ailing a bit.
He's either hurting or needs oxygen. Yeah, with 2 outs, you're off with the contact. That ball smoked from Adam Eaton. One of those line drives just kept going. George Springer looked like he had a beat on it, but just couldn't get to the spot where it was going to come down. There, DeHonor just pulls up halfway to third base.
So the White Sox will check out their catcher. That's tough when you're unable to score on this ball. And Navarro.
It looked like he was going pretty good until halfway to third base and just shut it down. Something inside ailing him a little bit.
Never had that moment where it looked like there. Right there is where he pulled it something, but just unable to go. And a break for the Astros. Apparently it feels better now.
Well, I'm glad he can laugh about it. Adam Eaton wanted the RBI.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam Eaton is not laughing at the moment.
Not to mention that run would have cut this lead in half.
And Doug Fister now a chance to get out of another inning without any damage. So yeah, that's big from the Astros perspective, certainly. Jimmy Rollins at the plate has doubled and scored and struck out. 2 runners in scoring position, assuming that Navarro is in scoring position. Jimmy Rollins hitting .241 on the year. That's a pretty good looking pitch at the knees. And that's the pitch we watched much of the night last night called a ball. Let's take our look tonight.
That's just a nasty pitch.
It's got to be a strike.
Get that call.
You just can't have pitchers delivering that pitch that they work on all the time and not get the call. Again, that's Dan Bellino behind the plate tonight. And you can't miss that one. Good curveball. It's 2-1. It's a gutsy pitch on a 2-0, especially when you consider Jose Abreu waits on deck.
Might have about thought him right there.
And a 2-2 count, the high strike. I don't think Jimmy Rollins or the fans here in Chicago are in agreement here.
First one we've really seen at the top part of that zone.
Two and two the count. And now 3-2. Putnam now gets it loose for the White Sox. So they get a righty up. Saw Putnam in last night's game. in the air to right center field. Long run for Rasmus. And he gets there to make the play.
Nice play.
Colby Rasmus can play some outfield as he makes a fine job and cuts down any threat here in the 5th inning for Chicago. They strand a pair. It's a big D by Colby. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jack in the Box. Taste the Jumbolicious Jumbo meal before it's gone. Only at Jack in the Box. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa dinger to Houston Children's Charity. U.S. Cellular Field, right out there deep in right center field. Colby Rasmus with the play, and Jason Castro launches one to right. See ya. Jason Castro on the first pitch of the inning adds another run to make it 5-1 Houston, and for Castro, his 3rd long ball of the year.
Is good to see. Keep talking about the bottom of the order having to pick things up a little bit. They have today. 3 base hits, a walk between Castro and Kemp, now a bomb. Elevated fastballs are getting torn up.
2 home runs for the Astros tonight, and now Tony Kemp in that 9 spot, 2 for 2, and there's a dinger smile. Colby Rasmus say, try as you like. You can't hit it as far as I can.
Keep trying, though. Could be fun.
0-1 pitch on the hands. Ground ball to short. They're going to get Tony Kemp for the first time as he scoots down the line. And we check in with Julia once again.
Thanks, guys. With Catherine Kemp, who's watching her son, was hoping he'd go 3 for 3 right there. I'm sure you would. But you can breathe. That first at-bat's out of the way, the debut's out of the way. I want to start by asking you, how excited was this family to find out the news? I know you guys were in Franklin, Tennessee. Fresno was in Nashville at the time. You guys were actually at the ballpark when you found out, right?
We were at the ballpark, but no one expected. But Tony was so excited. When we first heard the news, we just couldn't contain ourselves. We're so blessed. He is so blessed. We've waited for this day for so long, and as you know, his brother Corey played also and mentored him, and right now we're just along for the journey.
Well, we hear that debut. So what did it feel like the first time you saw him put on that Astros uniform and take the field?
Heard of Niagara Falls, right? The tears just started coming. They couldn't stop, and the friends and family that came from St. Louis kept saying, okay, he's okay, he's here, but just excited and humble, very humble, and just very happy for him because it's his time. But
well, he's played it at all different levels. I know you watched him grow up and play baseball, play at college at Vanderbilt. What has it been like watching him grow as a baseball player to get to this level? You can cry if you need to.
I'm trying to hold back the tears right now. Words can't explain because for so long, since Tony was a little boy and played in the backyard, playing with his brother, it's been his dream. And from high school to college to the minors after he got drafted, you know, I would ask him, does it feel real? You know, once he got drafted, and he said, Mom, you know, he said, I'm happy, I'm having fun, and that's what baseball is all about. You know, and he has such a compassion and love for the sport, and I think that's what keeps Tony grounded. You know, he's happy, so we're happy.
It's a very special moment for everyone, so you were definitely allowed to have the emotions that all of your family's having right now. Who's all with you at this series in Chicago, and how did y'all get here?
Actually, we drove. We drove from Nashville. His brother's from Atlanta. And then I have family from St. Louis that came in. I have a brother from Chicago, very large family. And they were all here to support Tony on his debut yesterday. And high school coach is here today. His college coach gave him a shout out in the newspaper back home. And right now, I think Twitter is kind of blowing up with Tony Kemp. And for Mom, it's like I said, it's surreal. You know, you never, I mean, you look forward to this day, but when it finally gets here, you're just excited for him, you know.
Big congratulations to you and your family and Tony. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. That's
Tony's mom, guys. Up to you.
Thank you very much, Julia, and that's absolutely fantastic, not only for Tony, but for the family, and they do it for a long time. He's already got a couple of hits in the big leagues. George Springer rakes one to left field, solid base hit. Just in front of that hit by Springer, Jose Altuve picked up his third hit of the night. So he stops at second. Zach Putnam has come on. He pitched in last night's game, pitched an inning and allowed a run, a couple of hits along the way. So George Springer, his first knock of the night.
I love those interviews. They never get old.
It's fun, isn't it?
Like having these young kids come up. And I love that she said humbled because she understands how hard it is to get to this level. And Tony Kemp has earned his way here. But you also get a good understanding of, you know, yes, Tony Kemp is the guy in the big leagues, but it takes a lot of people in that support group to get him here.
Carlos Correa now stands in. Carlos has a couple of hits. He has an RBI, a stolen base. Yeah, I'm really here. Check out the lights. It's really bright here in the big leagues. Correa offers on the pitch down and in. 0-2 the count. With the 2 hits tonight now, Carlos Correa hitting at .276 and starting to drive in runs. 20 ribbies now on the year. Matt Latos, a 4th consecutive tough start. Leaves trailing 5-1.
Not sure if everybody at home remembers Zach Putnam from last night, but sinker around 90 miles an hour, but loves going to that split-fingered fastball. He will throw it back to back to back.
The 0-2 from Putnam. And there it is. I believe that was that great at bat from Jose Altuve, the sac fly.
Yep, exactly right.
A couple of strikes on him and went down and got one, driving in a run, and it was crucial in the victory. George Springer, Altuve, Correa, the 3 guys at the top, and then add to that Colby Rasmus, who has homered tonight, along with the home run here in the 6th inning by Jason Castro. And that offense starting to look pretty good right now. 12 hits on the board. Correa down on strikes, second out of the inning. bring up Colby. He was 0 for 2 when he stepped to the plate in the 5th inning and then launched one deep to right field. And again, one of the 2 home runs hit against Matt Latos tonight. Ground ball right side. Laurie is there. They'll get the out. That'll do it for the Astros in the 6th inning. But you can't stop that leadoff home run by Jason Castro as we watch it again. That'll make it 5-1 Houston. Doug Fister works into the 6th inning now, a 5-1 Houston lead. As he faces the 3-hitter Jose Abreu and gets in front 0-1. Abreu RBI single back in the 1st inning. He's also grounded out. So 1 for 2 on the night. And that batting average has been pushing upward. He's hitting .250. Pops one down the right side. Long run Springer, and he gets there. George Springer with those great instincts and speed in right field, out number 1. Time for tonight's Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Look at some of the great arms around Major League Baseball now. Who's the best, Plummer?
According to the graphic, it says Noah Syndergaard at 98 miles an hour. That's pretty firm.
That is firm.
He was throwing a lot of pitches at 100 miles an hour yesterday, too. Can run it up there in a hurry. Throws his slider at 92 miles an hour. It's not fair.
Nate Eovaldi, one of those Houston area products, pitching with the Yankees, and he makes it look awfully easy. Ground ball slowly hit to 3rd. Moran with the play as the throw goes on by down the line. That was a very nice looking effort. Todd Frazier hit that slow ground ball and eventually beats it out. See how this is ruled.
A bunt from the 4-hole hitter Todd Frazier. So in Moran's defense on this play, he was playing deep, anticipating the big right-handed 12 home run guy not to lay down a bump, but he made a heck of a play to make it close. But Valbuena, who doesn't play a lot of first base, kind of reached into the running lane that Frazier was coming in and ran into the glove. The argument is Frazier running on the inside of the diamond. Again, a heck of a play to get rid of it, but watch where Frazier is on the inside part of the line. But see how that wrist and that elbow and arm gets stuck in there? That is not a good spot for a first baseman to be.
You know, honestly, I've never seen a player who runs those last 10 feet to the bag in the base path that's provided. You go to the bag, and that's what I see from Frazier. What about you?
I saw him on the inside with that replay.
And you would tend to say that's interference on the runner?
Well, I think that he didn't give Valbuena a chance to grab that ball. I mean, he interfered with the player, not necessarily the base ball in that play.
He's aboard.
But I'm not even sure if that's a reviewable play or a call you can make, because usually it's interfering with the throwing lane.
It is a bunt single for Frazier. Melky Cabrera at the plate. Yeah, that's a gray area because there is a base path as this one's driven to right center field. Springer's not going to get there. Up against the wall, and now it kicks away from everybody. Rasmus runs it down. A run will score into third base with an RBI triple. Melky Cabrera, and the White Sox have picked up a run and have a man 90 feet away.
That's pretty crazy right there. Melky Cabrera just reaches out over home plate, gets that fastball. Not a bad location from Fister. Just Melky was going out there, got extended on it, ripped it into that gap, but it hits a post. It's a chain link fence for most of the fence out here at US Southern. You can see it hits that pad that's on top of the post and just ricochets away from George Springer and Colby Rasmus, allowing the triple. Bad luck.
Still one out here in the inning. Brett Lawrie at the plate. He has struck out twice tonight. And how Fister could utilize one of those strikeouts right now. Infield playing back at short and second. Moran playing up even with that base path on the left side. Valbuena on the right side, not far from that position.
Fister's doing a good job of getting that sinker inside on right-handed hitters, tying them up.
1-2 now the count, and again that strikeout would be really big right here. Fister has struck out 4 on the night. 2 of those getting Brett Lawrie. On the scoreboard, nothing but single runs put up all night long, and Chicago trying to change that trend here in the 6th. Slider got him, and there's nowhere to go right there for Brett Lawrie. So a third time tonight, Lawrie goes down on strikes, and that is that big strikeout. Second out now. It brings up Avi Garcia.
Hey, we got time now for our Lexus defensive rankings. Tony Kemp out there. We're still learning a little bit about Tony. Some of the scouting reports say he's quick to the baseball, but we got a chance to see how good and accurate that arm is. And the positioning helps out too, putting these guys in a good position to make plays. We know we can't run on Colby or George Springer, who are aggressive to the baseball and have excellent arms.
Infield back all the way around now for Garcia as he takes a strike. Well, if Fister can find a way to get out of this 6th inning, allowing just the 1 run, he has done a job. Again, that pitch you were talking about, fastball on the hands, it's 0-2.
Well, it does a good job of getting in there and tying up these hitters. Good late movement on that sinker, but what it does too is it sets up that slider down and away. Did a great job on Brett Lawrie to get in this situation right here.
Pitch number 91 on the evening for Fister. And there's that very nice job from Castro.
That was not an easy pitch to block.
Well, Castro's been a big part of the offense tonight. He's scored 3 runs, has a couple of hits and a walk, and driving in a run, obviously, with the home run. On the hands, ground ball right side. Valbuena to Fister. And Fister does get out of the 6th inning with just the 1 run on the board as the White Sox leave a man at third. We played 6. Astros lead 5-2. Back to the south side of Chicago. 5-2 Astros lead. Trying to make it 2 straight over these White Sox, who again lead their division. 7th inning we go. Evan Gattis leads it off, 1 for 3 on his night. The house that Blum built.
Stadium was built in 1991.
Been around that long.
25th anniversary of Comiskey / U.S. Cellular.
They changed the seating in here. This was originally blue seating.
Yeah, they changed the seating. A lot of the, it was gray steel work, I guess you want to say, around here. It's all been painted black. They put up some windscreen around the top, cut down on some of the wind. But yeah, there have been some pretty good adjustments around here. You are right in saying that there were those light blue seats around here for a while.
You know what? For me, it's a good-looking ballpark. The only negative is they don't put a lot of fannies in the seats.
Yeah, they want to see winning.
Evan Gattis leading it off.
And I mean, winning late in seasons too. It's you know, throughout the course of the season, show up sporadically, but later in the season they start to show up a little bit when it becomes a little more serious around here.
Yeah, they just don't buy into the White Sox like they do the Cubs, and the Cubs are going to fill it up pretty close to every game of the season.
I'll blame a little bit tonight on the weather and last night.
Yeah, that's fair.
A little bit.
But at Wrigley with this weather, they'd be packed in. Of course, the Cubs off to a great start this year. Chicago Cubs have started their year 27-10. It's the best record in baseball. Good sinker for the strikeout or the splitter.
Kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park every Friday home game with the best fireworks show in town. The next fireworks show is this Friday night and is Texas country music themed. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Mentioned the Cubs having the best record in baseball. The worst record goes to the Atlanta Braves, who just fired Freddie Gonzalez, their longtime manager. Good guy, and really sorry to see that Freddie go down, but when a team plays that badly, somebody's going to pay the price.
Yeah, and you know, hear interviews with John Hart, who's working in the front office over there in Atlanta. You know, it's just it's one of the beginnings of the rebuilding process for the Braves. And it is unfortunate because Freddie is a good guy, good manager. Just not his time right now with all the issues that the Atlanta Braves are having in that organization right now.
They've got the new stadium coming next year, and you wonder, what do they do? Are they going to be buyers trying to bring in some talent as they work toward next year? Because obviously right now they're coming up well shy. Colin Moran still looking for that first major league hit. 0 for 3 on the night.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that organization, but I'm sure they've probably got some young talent through the draft over the last couple of years. Maybe a couple trades. We know Mike Foltynewicz is over there. But hopefully some guys in that organization that can step up in the coming years to make that new ballpark something to come out and see.
Somebody asking on Twitter if Colin Moran with the hitting style reminds at all of John Olerud. What do you see?
I don't see too much of John Olerud in the swing for me. Olerud was a little more closed off with the stance, was a little bit quieter with the setup and the load.
John Olerud, one of the game's pure hitters.
Yeah, he was a pretty amazing watch.
Yeah, you'd love to see that be what Colin Moran is able to turn into. We're 1 out here in the 7th inning. And Moran coaches that walk. So he's aboard first time as it brings up Luis Valbuena.
Seriously? 3-2 split finger to the rookie kid, nobody on base?
That's kind of the way Putnam goes at it, isn't it?
That drives me nuts, though. Challenge the guy. Only earned himself out of this one. I don't get it.
Robin Ventura out to the mound. And that's going to do it as Putnam has worked in consecutive games here in the series. The White Sox once again turn to the bullpen as the Astros lead here in the 7th inning 5-2. We'll be right back.
Top of the 7th, where there's 1 out. It's 5-2 Astros on top of the Sox. And it's time to tell you who won the Chevy Stro poll. We asked you which Astro had the coolest nickname. Almost 1,000 votes on this one, guys. People really enjoyed picking the coolest nickname, and the Express wins.
Yeah, that's good.
Nolan Ryan.
Thanks, Julia. Which way would you have gone there, Blummer?
I don't know. Dr. Death just kind of jumps at me for some reason. It sounds kind of sinister.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I think knee-jerk, I might have gone Toy Cannon.
Yeah.
But maybe just because it was more toward when I was a young kid kind of following the game. Dan Jennings, left-hander, comes on now to work in the 7th inning. 1 out, a man aboard. As Luis Valbuena brings that left-handed bat to the plate. Saw some interesting comments on Twitter about who maybe Colin Moran reminds some folks of.
Yeah, I thought they were good comments. Got a couple Luis Gonzalez's and a Sean Green, and I think those are good comparisons, at least visually, with the stance.
Of course, Luis Gonzalez turned into that wide open stance. And I don't remember, Sean Green, was he that wide open?
Yeah, he was.
Valbuena lines one to left field, solid base hit. For Valbuena, his first hit of the night. He's 1 for 4. Couple of runners aboard, first and second, for a now hot Jason Castro.
Playing to Win is brought to you by Toyota Tundra. Jason Castro, bottom part of that order, doing work. Tony Kemp with his first big league hit, a double down that left field line. And what that bottom part of the order is trying to do is get on base and set it up for those guys ahead of them. Namely Altuve, who's got a couple of RBIs on the day. Sometimes you can do it yourself. Get yourself a hanging fastball and rocket it out of here to right field. Castro, 3 runs scored today.
Yeah, he's swinging the bat. And we've been coming up with that call for the back end of the order to produce. Jason Castro's kind of a one-man wrecking crew back there right now. Really good to see him swinging the bat well, hitting .226. And not only picking up the hits, not only getting on base, but starting to drive the baseball.
It's all right. With that great night, he probably just earned himself a day off tomorrow.
That's the way it works around here, huh? Of course, we're talking a little bit about Tyler White. Ground ball hitting left side. They'll get 1 at second, 5, 4, and 3, but they get him. So the double play will end the inning for the Astros. Castro grounds into that 5-4-3 against Putnam, or Jennings rather. Astros still on top. The DeMontron Auto Group. Long ball part of that game summary tonight as Colby Rasmus and Jason Castro have gone long ball. Tony Kemp has been a part of things. And then what about Doug Fister?
Been doing great, going back out there for the 7th inning.
What 7 innings his last time out, allowing just a couple of runs to Cleveland. And now back-to-back trying to get 7. He will face 8, 9, and 1 for the White Sox as Dioner Navarro leads it off. Navarro 1 for 2 on the night, had a base hit in the 5th inning. He was at first base with 2 outs when Adam Eaton drove one to the gap in right center field, and Navarro failed to be able to score. He, in fact, just slowly pulled into third base.
Pulled the ripcord.
Well, the ripcord is right, and it would appear physically everything is okay. That to me would be really frustrating on a club. 2 balls and no strikes. As now Ken Giles gets loose, and we saw a version of Ken Giles last night that looked better than we've seen all season.
Without a doubt. In a tough situation too. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Well, it was one of those, you get 2 strikeouts right here and you've done one whale of a job, and that's exactly what he came up with, and needed just 8 pitches to get it done. And now 3 and 1 on Navarro.
I like it. Don't cover up the rainbow jersey. Gotta go in layers.
Line drive, base hit. Navarro, his 2nd hit of the night, as he just jogs it down the line. And you have to wonder if the White Sox turn to the bench right now and bring on a pinch hitter, or runner rather.
Yeah, why break up the logjam?
Well, they've got one seriously out there.
It's a whole new meaning to station to station.
Boy, is it ever. Robin Ventura has not turned to the bench yet, as Austin Jackson, the 9-hitter, stands in. But Brent Strom is going to come out to the mound, and in the process maybe give Robin Ventura a chance to think things over a little bit more.
You want him to change his mind, don't you?
Well, you know what? I'm perfectly fine with Navarro being out there.
Yeah, for our sakes, it's good. I think this Brent Strom right here is having a little conversation with Doug Fisher, telling him he's doing a great job. This might be more or less just to give Ken Giles a couple more warm-up pitches to get loose out there. See, it's a pretty good conversation.
Doug Fister tries to find a way to get through the 7th inning. Still a close ball game, 5-2 Houston.
Yeah, and I think if Dioner Navarro was the tying run, winning run, of course he'd be out of there. But I think with the 3-run lead that the Astros have, he's going to hold on to his bench players a little bit.
Ken Giles continues to loosen for the Astros. Jackson runs well, tough guy to double up. Fister has struck out 5 tonight. The Astros just saw the Boston Red Sox, who looked really good, and they were on quite a scoring barrage even before the Astros came to town. But Kansas City is trying to take care of them. 3-0 the count. These 2 clubs got rained out on Monday. They're doubling up today. Royals winning the first 2 games in the series. Boston leads in that nightcap tonight, 2-1. At 3-1 the count. Watching Navarro down at first base, not even attempting to bluff a lead. Have you noticed he's just a step or so off the bag? Now edging to a 4-foot lead as it's 3-2 now.
Wow, nice pitch, 3-1. A backdoor sinker from Fister. Oh, hey, Castro may have gotten that one for him, huh?
There you go. Baseball's leading framer behind the plate. Hit in the air right center field. Springer to his right will call and make the catch. So after falling behind 3-0, nice job by Fister to come back and get the out. One out, top of the order, Adam Eaton at the plate. That's going to bring out AJ. So Fister will not get his 7 innings tonight. He works 6 1/3. And now the the Astros turn to the bullpen. Ken Giles comes in, and you just hope to see what Giles brought last night. Fine job by Doug Fister.
Chicago White Sox here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. That man right there, Doug Fister, is responsible for that man at first, but this pitching performance is powered by Kubota. Doug Fister did a great job, not afraid to pitch to contact. We talked about the velocity has diminished for him, but still not afraid to pound that zone with that fastball, curveball, occasional changeup mix. Did a good job of bringing that sinker inside to right-hander to set up the slider breaking ball in the outside corner. Only 1 walk on the evening, 5 punch-outs, and came out of this game after pitching a strong 6 1/3 innings.
And now it's Ken Giles, 20th outing on the season. He's wanted to pitch in high leverage situations. He's starting to find himself there. The first pitch of the night comes with the slider for the strike. Got to earn these spots, and based on the stuff we saw last night, Ken Giles has a chance to really earn his way in there now.
Yeah, oddly enough, he came in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and actually looked comfortable and had the stuff to back it up too.
Not only did he have the big fastball last night that he was blowing by the bats, but he had command of a very good looking slider.
Yeah, I think he was looking ridiculous last night. Instead of having that right to left action, had more of that 12-6 action on that hard slider at 86 to 87 miles an hour.
Right now, a tough out at the plate. Adam Eaton, who has a single and a double tonight in 3 at-bats. Giles falls behind 2 balls and a strike. Two and 2 now on Adam Eaton. Just thinking as you look toward the 9th inning. Luke Gregerson has had his struggles recently. Who might find their way into that spot?
I'd give it a pretty good guess right now if you wanted me to.
Sure.
Will Harris.
Well, he's been great, hasn't
he? If anybody's going to pick up Gregerson right now, because obviously Ken Giles is in here doing a job, but if I had to pick a guy to replace Gregerson just to give him maybe just a mental break and a little bit of a physical break, Will Harris for me would be the guy.
Been absolutely dynamite, not just this year, last year as well. But for the moment, we're in the 7th inning, a 3-2 count on Eaton. Giles trying to turn his season around. Again, game number 41 for the Astros. But he walks Eaton. And that puts runners at first and second. Still one out. And now you start to get into that lineup for the White Sox. Jimmy Rollins will stand in. Now pinch runner at second base as the White Sox turn to Tyler Saladino. Robin Ventura just realizes that he needs somebody who can run a little bit out there at second base. So Saladino is the pinch runner. Pitch hit in the air to center field straight away. Rasmus is there. He'll make the catch. So Giles gets a second out now as he gets Jimmy Rollins. And with 2 runners aboard, the powerful Jose Abreu comes to the plate.
This is one of the guys Ken Giles got last night. Jose Abreu threw a couple of good fastballs up and in. 98 miles an hour. That'll make anybody uncomfortable. But then again, came back with that power slider.
It's not easy to pitch 2 and 3 nights in a row. Maybe more so when you're that power guy relying on 98 plus. There's the slider and a good one. Abreu on the night, 1 for 3. RBI single back in the first inning. That tied the game at 1. The Astros have scored in the first, second, fourth, fifth, and sixth innings. All 1-run affairs. White Sox 1 run in the first and 1 in the sixth. With Giles in front 0-2.
You know how fast Woody Williams would have said that pitch was? 97. Used to do that all the time with the number 7.
You working with Woody right now?
No, I did, and he was one of the great teammates I was able to play with. He'd come back and he'd always go, "What's up, 2-7?" It was a good time.
Houston boy. I know he
he's still
stays
around.
in touch with you during the game.
Yes,
sometimes.
he does.
Runners go. The pitch is lined but foul, and Ken Giles not keeping an eye on Saladino at second base. So both runners just taking off freely.
I got a question for you. How did you feel in a 2-strike count when the runner at second base took off? Did it bother you at all?
As a hitter?
Yeah, because sometimes, that movement in the background frustrates some hitters because they see the movement and it takes their focus off the pitcher just for a split second.
I know what you're talking about, and I know a lot of guys who would say I'd prefer you not being on the move when I'm at the plate, but I didn't mind having guys go. Slider in the dirt. Castro again with a nice job. You?
It didn't bother me.
I think like a typical hitter, I didn't like to see an umpire standing behind the pitcher's arm.
Yeah, that's not a good move. I've actually had to move umpires a couple times.
Sometimes they'll
just kind of forget where they're at,
completely set up wrong. The 1-2 and a big pitch from Ken Giles. Lined into left center field. It's going to drop for a hit. That'll produce 1 run as Kemp gets it back in. RBI single. 2 RBIs now on the night for Abreu. And this game gets tighter. It's now 5-3.
Really not an awful pitch from Ken Giles. You can tell by the way the ball was hit that it wasn't crushed, but Abreu just did a better job of staying on it. Kind of backed up a little bit, and it's pretty impressive that Abreu was able to adjust to that and get it back up the middle for the RBI single.
And now the cleanup spot for the dangerous Todd Frazier at the plate. So Jose Abreu doing what he does so well, driving in runs. It is not as dominant, overpowering a Ken Giles that we're looking at tonight as compared with last night. And yet that heater at 97.
91?
CM.
No, I agree. And you talked about it, pitching in back-to-back nights, even with the electric arm that Ken Giles has, it's tough to replicate night after night, 98, 99 miles an hour.
There was something about his fastball last night. It wasn't the velocity so much, it was just the life of the heater, that four-seamer riding over the bats. I often hear people talk about pitchers and their fastball straight. Well, Nolan Ryan's fastball was straight, but that was what made it so effective. Billy Wagner, the same story, that four-seamer that just rides at the plate. The 1-1 pitch is inside.
98.
It's that little.
It's just that last like 15 feet that seemed to just explode through the zone.
You know, the guys that throw hard and pick up strikeouts on their fastball, when they start having that little tailing sinker that finds the center of the plate, that's when they get in big trouble. For you, 2-2.
I think when you realize you're facing these guys that have these power arms that throw the four-seam fastball like Ash is talking about, where it seems to explode through the zone, you have to really, as a hitter, really make a concerted effort to get on top of the baseball.
And that fastball right there is the example, that four-seamer that rides right over the bat. Up to 98, but now it's 3-2.
Good job laying off that.
Tough hitter Melky Cabrera waits on deck.
With that hit from Abreu, that's 7 consecutive games that the Astros pitchers have given up 10-plus hits in a game.
Tough to win games that way. Runner from first goes, the pitch hit high and fairly deep toward left center field. It's Colby Rasmus calling. He'll make the catch. And Ken Giles comes on, gives up a run. It's Fister's run on his slate. And now 5-3.
Astros on top. It's time to name that Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We've got some clues for you. You know how this works. You tweet us your best guess. I'll tell you the answer a little bit later. A Dominican dandy. He forced a World Series tie, lost his cap, worked overtime in Game 3. Let's see what you got. You guys sound stumped.
What sounds stumped about silence? We go to the 8th inning with no clue, other than the fact that the Astros lead 5-3 over the White Sox, and Tony Kemp will stand in 2 for 3 in his major league debut. He's also picked up an assist in left field, a big out back in the 1st inning. He's been really good. Facing the lefty now, Jennings. Julia gets really cocky when she has tough ones, doesn't she?
Well, she Googles the answer and then expects us to just know it.
And it's confident, not cocky.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't Google.
I know you know Google.
The producer's just my friend. He helps me out.
We have been advised that the confidence level is very high for Julia.
Again.
Tony Kemp with a 3-0 count. And now draws the walk, so he reaches for a 3rd time tonight. Very nice for your 9-hitter. Now you push back to the top. Altuve, who has 3 knocks on the night, will stand in. Let's check in on that batting average for Jose. 348 at the moment. And with Kemp aboard, the possibility of employing a little running game here. .348 batting average, .434 on base percentage. Oh, and by the way, he's slugging at .621.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And now a 2-0 count. So Jennings scuffling with command here in the 8th inning. Each team in double digits with hits. 13 for Houston, 10 for the White Sox. Altuve's 17 doubles leads the league. David Ortiz is second at 16, and now Don Cooper comes out as the pitching coach for the White Sox will meet with his pitcher and entire infield. Does that time allotted a coach include the time walking from the dugout to the mound?
I think it's as soon as he steps that foot out of the dugout.
Brief meeting at the mound. Two balls, no strikes on Altuve. Colin Moran, major league debut. Tony Kemp, same story. Although for Kemp, again, came on as a pinch runner last night. The 2-0. And now 3-0 on Jose. Sometimes you can look at that doubles column and find a lot of guys who are having really good years. Altuve, Ortiz, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, guys that are right at the top of the list. Mock cheer from the fans here in Chicago. White Sox have another left-hander throwing in the pen. Matt Perky. Altuve draws the walk. So he reaches for a 4th time tonight. A couple of walks in the inning. Kemp the lead runner. And now George Springer comes to the plate.
good time for the Astros to answer back after giving up that run in the bottom of the 7th inning.
It's 5 walks now issued by Chicago pitching. Doug Fister walked just 1 through 6 1/3. Springer hits it on the ground to third. Step on the bag, go to second for 1, back to first, and there's your triple play. And set up perfectly with that ground ball right out over the bag. Todd Frazier gets it started. How about that? A big threat thwarted with the triple play.
Astros with the lead. It's time to name that Astro. Brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here are your clues. I didn't get many correct answers on Twitter, but you guys tried. Good effort. Dominican dandy forced a World Series tie, where he lost his cap and he worked overtime. Who is this Astro? Jose Vizcaino, who was born in the Dominican Republic. He lost his cap. Oh, he forgot his cap. This was after he tied up Game 2 World Series. Came back out, forgot his cap. And he worked overtime in Game 3 because he played every inning of Game 3 in 05, the longest game in World Series history. How about that?
Well, Julia, if you'd gotten that cap part of the program correct, I think we would have known it right away.
I can't win. I cannot win with you guys.
So, the Astros turn to the bullpen once again. We thank Julia for messing us all up with the clues. As Harris comes on to work the 8th inning. So it will not be the 9th. Will Harris brings this great stuff into this 8th. Five, 3, Houston on top. And a foul ball. And that leaves first base umpire Adam Hamari just a bit looser than he was a few seconds ago.
Not easy to do when you're standing around all day to get elevated like that. Here in Chicago, he goes into his best Michael Jordan pose.
Stay loose. Did he get postered right there?
He sure did. Oh, man, self-preservation will make you do some athletic things.
0-2 the count. Backdoor cutter. When you start going 93 with the cutter, and you are really bringing it. Any more, and you're doing the Mariano Rivera act. Getting just a piece and staying alive. Melky Cabrera. How much did you face Mariano, and what kind of results?
Luckily not as often as I had to. I have several broken bats. I don't think I got a hit off him in the regular season. I got a couple hits off him in spring training, but that's no big deal.
You think it was tougher for the lefties or the righties?
Yeah, Jose Cruz Jr. I played with in 2004 in Tampa Bay. He actually faced Mariano Rivera right-handed, so he wouldn't get blown up with that cutter.
Strike 3 called. Will Harris comes on and gets that first out. Take a look at that triple play that ended the top of the inning.
You know, that's a great play by the White Sox, but remember that the bases were loaded on 2 walks. I mean, there's 2 runners on with 2 walks. Jennings was really nowhere near the zone, and we saw George Springer attack that first pitch. But you got to capitalize on situations, and the White Sox definitely did. Second triple play on the season for them.
First one I didn't quite understand, but I believe it was started by the right fielder. And then,
yeah, I thought somebody was rattling off their phone number, but it turned out to be a triple play.
that 932 area code.
Exactly.
Brett Lawrie has struck out all 3 plate appearances tonight.
A good idea for a hit song.
9-3 area, 932 area.
Yeah, just throw out a phone number. Go for it.
There's also already, I meant to say, one of those. It's at 567-5309. What is that song?
There you go.
867-5309. It's only 2-tone, I'm told.
Oh, 2-tone.
Two and 2 the count on Lawrie. He's got the sombrero. It is not painted gold yet. Hit sharply to short. Correa is there. And second out here in the 8th inning. Now, Will Harris has just been about as locked down as you'll find.
You realize before Lawrie just hit that ground ball to short, he had 6 straight strikeouts, 6 straight at bats.
Struck out the last 2 ABs last night.
Last 3 last night.
3 last night. That's
and
right.
The first 3 tonight.
Two outs for Avi Garcia. Get through this 8th inning with the 2-run lead and try to add to it.
Just got a note from Gene Diaz. The last time the Astros hit into a triple play was April 9th of 1989 against San Diego. Ken Caminiti hit into that triple play. It's a pretty long time in between triple plays.
I bet it was a rocket.
Pretty good chance the way he swung the bat.
Bring them in text form, Gene, if you can. Guess you're always there bringing all the information. Garcia, big swing through it. It's 1-2. Defensively, Jake Marisnick is now in center field. Colby Rasmus moves from center to left field. So Tony Kemp is out of the ball game and had a very nice major league debut. Strike 3 called. Garcia caught looking. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Will Harris. A couple of strikeouts mixed in. Still that 2-run lead. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Downtown Chicago. Michigan Avenue, what a great spot. We are on the south side at U.S. Cellular Field as we go to the 9th inning, and Carlos Correa leads it off. Carlos had hits his first 2 at-bats tonight. He's 2 for 4 on the evening. He has driven in a run. He's stolen a base. Chops one to first. So Carlos 2 for 5 on the night. Out number 1 here in the 9th. And Luke Gregerson gets it loose in the Astros pen.
Houston Methodist League leaders brings us runners in scoring position and 2 outs. The batting average for Colby Rasmus, you got to be kidding me, 571. Some big numbers.
Yeah,
Guys getting it done. That's for me, that's a clutch statistic right there.
Yadier Molina, longtime catcher for the Cardinals, also off to that same great start. Jennings brings the strike. It's 0-1 on Colby. He's 1 for 4 tonight. That one a 5th inning launch job. His 8th home run of the year. That's the young man, Owen, that Colby went and visited at the hospital, and what a great story. Hit me a home run. Be glad to.
It's pretty cool. It's one of the fun things you get to do as a professional athlete, is actually interact with some of these kids who have been less fortunate. And Colby Rasmus has got a great demeanor about it. Had a chance to talk to him walking into the ballpark today, and he was very appreciative of the opportunity to go talk to Owen.
For the White Sox in the bottom of the 9th inning, they'll send the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to the plate. And it would appear that Luke Gregerson will be the man coming on. Colby down on strikes. Good slider from Jennings. 2nd out of the inning. Evan Gattis at the plate. In that 5 spot tonight, he's 1 for 4. Had a 5th inning single. And then was aboard when Luis Valbuena grounded into a double play. It's one sharply foul right on by Gary Pettis.
Nice play.
Baltimore just keeps on winning. They win at 5-2 over visiting Seattle. Atlanta wins their 10th on the year. They finally get to double digits. They down the Pirates 3-1. Tampa Bay wins in Toronto 6-3. The Oakland A's, as we mentioned earlier, topping Texas, sweeping away the Texas Rangers. 8-1 final today. Kansas City in the first of 2 with the Red Sox winning it 3-2. Philadelphia 4-2 winner over the Miami Marlins, and the Tigers of Brad Ausmus 6-3 winners as they stop Minnesota. Minnesota Twins just 10 wins on their year. Pitch is rammed deep, but way foul down the left side. Bat is quick right now for Evan.
It's cold night, so it creates some bat speed so you don't get jammed.
Keep it off my hands.
Expect nothing less out of Evan Gattis. No sleeves, no batting gloves, just play ball.
Yeah, he kind of defines old school, doesn't he?
Yeah. For this game in the middle of Alaska, he's going to have that same uniform on right there.
They're underway in Arizona. The Yankees lead over Arizona 2-1. Strike three called somewhere in the vicinity of the bottom of the knees. Couple of strikeouts, a 1-2-3 ninth inning. To the bottom of the frame we go. 5-3 Houston.
Swung on, there's a drive. Hit deep toward left. Hill and Johnson go back, and Bagwell has a 3-home run ball game.
That's gone. 3 in a row for Jeff Bagwell. It is 13-4.
That is our Geico quote of the day. It is Jeff Bagwell. See that bottom line. Third player in Major League history to hit 3 home runs in a game twice in the same city. First to do it in 2 different ballparks in the same city. Just a long line of accomplishments for that man right there, Jeff Bagwell. Pretty cool stuff.
He's a
beast.
He's a beast. He was just such a fantastic player.
Hawk Harrelson sounded a little annoyed that he did that.
Hawk didn't wait long to see that ball go out, did he?
Yeah, he's like, there's another one.
Bottom of the ninth, 5-3 Houston. Luke Gregerson on. Luke has had his issues recently. Facing the 8th spot. Alex Avila comes on, his first plate appearance of the night, pinch hitting here. Actually came on defensively, so not an official pinch hitting at bat. Has a 2-0 count. Gregerson trying to find the strike zone. And now 3-0. We're not seeing the slider. Is it?
No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, we're not seeing the slider, but I think he was trying to get ahead with that sinker first to create a situation where he could use that slider down and get the swing over the top like we normally see. But location is an issue early on here for Luke Gregerson.
And now 3-1. And he's going to have to battle into this at bat now for Avila. Have to imagine Avila's taking another strike.
Be a good idea.
half swing, he goes through. So Gregerson and the Astros catch a break.
Would have been a good idea.
Would have been.
These situations, if you're on offense, you're trying to get that tying run to home plate, which means you got to create base runners. There was an opportunity maybe for ball 4 there, but now Luke Gregerson gets back into the count with a 3-2 count. What can he do with it?
Ground ball back to the mound. Nice play by Gregerson. And he gets that first out after falling behind 3-0.
For your viewing pleasure, replay on those home run swings from Jeff Bagwell.
Pretty much perfect positioning right there for Bagwell. 1 out for Austin Jackson. 0 for 3 on his night. Recommended to get ahead right here for Gregerson. Sinker at the knees.
Good action on that sinker.
Three blown saves on the year now for Luke, trying to turn things back in that other direction. That slider nowhere close. Waiting on deck, the leadoff man, Adam Eaton. There's your slider and a 1-2 count.
If you saw a guy throw a brutal slider, would you double up, or would they pitcher shake to go throw that slider again and try and throw a better one to get a feel for it?
Some of both. Fly ball hit into left field. Colby Rasmus coming on. He'll put it away easily, second out. But yeah, it's a feel thing a lot of times. If you're watching a guy like Gregerson struggle, and I would say in the last couple of outings, the slider has been ineffective. It hasn't been sharply thrown. And so you have a tendency of saying, well, he doesn't have a feel on this pitch right now, so we've got to turn elsewhere. So there's a lot of that goes on. 2 outs. And now to the top with Adam Eaton. The Astros 1 out away, trying to, for a 3rd time this year, win a 2nd straight game. Doesn't sound like much, and it probably isn't, but trying to find that winning formula once again. 1-1 the count.
And again, you hear teams talk about it all the time. If they can win the series, they're doing good things. And if they win this ball game, they will win this series against the White Sox, and that's a start.
There's your slider on the 1-1. So a strike away now for Gregerson. And maybe one of those outings where you can kind of regain the confidence in the slider. And you're always playing it that way. You're always trying to have that at bat or that defensive play or that pitch that you can bring with you forward. Closers are the guys that have to have the short memories. Just forget about what happened last time out. But it's tough.
Yeah, they're still human.
There were some through the years I didn't feel that was the truth on, but
yeah, some of them I faced didn't feel like they were human either.
Slider got him, kind of a hanger, but strike 3, and a 1-2-3 9th inning for Luke Gregerson after falling behind on his first man 3-0. So Gregerson gets the job done, picks up the save tonight. The Astros do enough with 13 hits, a couple of long balls. When it's all said and done with a couple of rookies in the lineup, the Astros win it and make it 2 straight over the White Sox. 5-3 that final tonight. We'll be back with more comments